So excited to be here with you on Brevity Sports. We are fired up. We are ready. We are live. I love to see it. Big Z, how are you doing tonight, my friend?
I am doing great, Fredo Lay. I'm excited to be here just to talk with you guys about whatever's on our mind and just share some insight into what we're talking about, what we're thinking. So yeah, pumped to be here.
What we're thinking. And by the way, when I say live, I absolutely mean we are live on a Sunday night, but you will not get this until about Thursday or Friday this week. Usually our episodes will come out on Wednesday to break up that week. It's going to be the perfect day. We're talking hump day. We are here to get you over the hump. We're talking major sports, major news. If you didn't get that from our introduction tonight, we have a massive episode coming for you. We are talking NFL. Massive free agents. I mean, massive. Big Z. What's going on with the NFL? It's huge.
The Super Bowl literally just ended 2 weeks ago, and it's still the first topic on ESPN, on FS1, on everything. You can't shake it. You cannot shake the NFL. I love it. I mean, the biggest news I think right now is the Jets. What are they going to do? Are they going to go get Derek Carr? They're going to get Aaron Rodgers? Are they going to stick with Zach Wilson? Maybe Joe Flacco? What's going on over here?
I don't know, man. I don't think the Jets know. I don't even think the Jets know, bro. Let's be honest.
I don't. You know, Derek Carr, if I was Derek Carr, I know he had a meeting with them, but I would take a step back and be like, look, they offered me some money, but I'm going to have to see what the other teams are offering me because, let's be honest, it's the Jets.
It is the Jets. It is the Jets.
Yeah.
And in Jets fashion, the question has to be asked. Tonight, we're going to be starting off with the NFL, players on the move. We're going to be talking NBA. What is going on, in the words of Jim Halpert? And finally, we're going to wrap it up with an MLB shakeup. I mean, there are so many rule changes coming. We got to let the fans know what's going on. So many rule changes coming up. But let's start it off with the NFL. Players on the move. I mean, this is insane. We got Derek Carr. We got Aaron Rodgers. Don't even get me started with the Niners, bro. I mean, what are they going to do? But the first name has to be Derek Carr. I mean, this guy just got done with an all-star game, right? Typically, when you finish an all-star game, you're not worried about, do I have a home? What team am I going to play for? Right. It's kind of an interesting scenario. Do you think, as you just mentioned, do you think he lands with the Jets, or do you think he kind of takes his time?
I think he should take his time. He's been in a terrible situation. He's been playing since 2014. Since then, he's had 6 head coaches. Think about that. 6 head coaches. And, you know, I think he deserves to take his time and to make a decision that's best for him and his family. He gets a lot of hate, you know, and it's because he's been on the Raiders, because he's had to deal with all the drama, the John Gruden drama, whatever that may be. It's because he's been on the Raiders. But the question has to be asked, does he deserve that elite quarterback money? I don't know. And that's where I had to, I've been thinking about it, and it's a tough one, man. It really is. I
mean, there's so much unknown with Derek Carr. It's rare that somebody makes an all-star game. It's rare that somebody takes the Raiders to 2 playoff appearances when this organization, this franchise has been in shambles for years. I mean, it seems like the golden years were so long ago. And yet when you look at a guy like Derek Carr, the question has to be asked. 6 head coaches, Dennis Allen, Tony Sparano, Jack Del Rio, John Gruden, Rich Bisaccia, and Josh McDaniels. And all of a sudden, news is coming out that's crazy. I mean, we got Josh McDaniels, who's upset that he won a game, right? Supposedly. And I don't know if you guys saw the video. They beat the Chargers, and Josh McDaniels looks pissed. I mean, you would never guess that this dude just won a game. But because they didn't win it the way that Josh McDaniels wanted them to, I'm like, what is going on? I mean, you just won a game. At least clap, do something. The question, I mean, when you look at Derek Carr, you understand why he's looking. He said it in his speech well himself. He said, look I never wanted to play in any other jersey. And I felt like he was being genuine. I really did. Yeah, 100%.
He went to school, Fresno State, like up there, Northern California. He seems like a Raider. He seems like a guy.
He is.
He should have been that franchise quarterback, and he was. But I just feel like there was. I mean, look, it's tough for this guy. He plays in the same division as Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert.
Oh boy.
Now Russell Wilson. Yeah, I mean Russell Wilson. I mean,
there's a lot of people who hate on Justin Herbert. Let's be honest. There's a lot of hate going around for Justin Herbert right now.
There is, but this guy deserves a lot of hate. But like, does he really? I mean, looking at his stats, like his career stats, 217 touchdowns and 99 interception. That's a 2-to-1 touchdown interception ratio. His completion percentage is 64%. Mahomes is 67. Jalen Hurts is 66.
Wow.
And Josh Allen is 63%. So yeah, we don't think of this guy as an elite quarterback, but he does get the job done. He's definitely a top 10 quarterback, right? Am I wrong in that assessment?
Oh, 100%. I agree with you. I think he's absolutely top 10. I think what this guy has done, when you look at the fact he's had that many head coaches, when you look at the fact of everything he's gone through, I mean, I look at Derek Carr and I don't understand how the Raiders let him go. I really don't. I mean,
I don't. Was it the money? Because he was scheduled to make, $46 million or something like that. But
outside of this year, when was the last time he had a top 10 receiver? I mean, you got Adams, right? This is the first year they finally had him. Adams.
Right.
But before this, outside of Waller, I mean, Jacobs, a good running back who finally, it seems like this year, really, nobody saw this coming. Don't act. If you're listening to this right now, if you're listening to this podcast, you're telling me you saw Josh Jacobs coming. You're lying. You're lying to yourself.
Right.
No one saw this guy coming.
Contract year, classic. But
in fantasy football, he was a fourth rounder. Third rounder.
The highest was a fourth round, in my opinion.
Come on, son.
But is it Derek Carr's fault? Is it Devontae Adams? Is it Josh Jacobs' fault that the defense, Derek Carr's whole career, is it their fault that they've had a 25 or below worst defense in the league every single season? It is 100% Derek Carr's fault.
Not at all. Look,
and to lead a team. Here's the thing: last year they almost beat the Bengals in the wild card round in Cincinnati. He threw an interception in the last play of the game, but to lead that team to the playoffs after the John Gruden drama, when his wide receiver, he got in some off-field troubles, to lead a team. He's a leader of men. You can tell these guys rallied around him. You could tell in his press conferences this year, he got super emotional, started crying, just saying, I don't work this hard to lose like this. This is a guy that I am, like you said, I am so surprised that the Raiders are going to let this guy go. And if I am the Jets, this is the guy I would go after. Now, if I'm Derek Carr, I would take a step back, wait. But if I'm the Jets, I would throw the bank at this guy.
Oh, yeah.
Robert Saleh, who is a fantastic head coach, he has made a great staff around him with a top 10 defense, a great offensive young core. This is exactly the situation, in my opinion, that Derek Carr would thrive in, because
especially with a Garrett Wilson. I mean, a Garrett Wilson coming into his own, the guy looked fantastic. Exactly. He just needs a quarterback.
Breece Hall. Garrett Wilson can be good with Zach Wilson. That's insane.
Come on, son.
Sorry, I'm not going to bash on the
guy. Listen. There's another guy on this list that I just want to compare to real quick, and we're moving on to it. Aaron Rodgers, right? You'd think if I said Aaron Rodgers, anybody listen to this, if I said Aaron Rodgers and then I said Derek Carr, you'd say there's a massive gap, right? You'd say, don't compare those two. Right. We're talking Hall of Famer versus bust. We're talking Hall of Famer versus just some dude in that league. This last year, I'm not talking about the years before. I get it. Aaron Rodgers had a great career. I'm just talking about this last year. Last year, completions, 350 in favor of Aaron Rodgers to only 305 for Derek Carr. I give him that. He had a great year. Here's where it gets a little bit closer. Here's where it's getting a little bit more interesting.
2 less games. Remember.
2 less games. 3,695 yards with 2 less games. Aaron Rodgers threw 3,695 yards. Carr throws 3,522 touchdowns. Aaron Rodgers throws 26. Derek Carr throws 24. 12 interceptions, 14 interceptions. So Derek Carr did have more interceptions, but with 2 games, you have to feel like those numbers would be that much closer. So if you're listening to this, if you are a new Brevity Sports fan, which we welcome you again to the show, you got to realize these guys are way closer based on right now. I'm not talking 5 years ago. I'm not talking 8 years ago. I'm talking right now, because right now is king, baby. What are you going to do for me now? Forget what you did for me before. Right. What are you going to do for me now? Derek Carr is a strong leader, and he is young, and he's ready to go. I think if he goes to the Jets, if I'm a Jets fan, I'm praying to God. I'm hoping, please sign this guy. If I'm Derek Carr,
yes,
I'm a little hesitant, but if I'm a Jets fan, I'm all in. I got to be honest. If I'm a Jets fan, this guy brings solidarity to your locker room. He brings much needed leadership. I mean, this is the guy that you want. Speaking of leadership, speaking of wanting commitment, Aaron Rodgers. This guy goes on the darkness retreat of a lifetime, locks himself in a dark room, whatever it is, very little light, sleeps. It's like deep in the forest.
Would you
don't know what's going on. I would never do it. I would never do it. It seems sketchy at best. I don't even do horror movies. I don't even do horror movies, dude.
I would go camping, but I'm not going to like lock myself in this. Like, no one else has access. What the heck besides the owner? That's weird, dude. That's just weird.
That's weird. That's so weird. And this guy goes away. He locks himself in his room. He comes back. Green Bay said, "Hey, we want more commitment from you." Yeah. What's your take on Aaron Rodgers? Is he going to be a Packer next year? What do you think?
Man, I don't know. I don't even think he knows. I think he's kind of lost in his way. He's really going down the Brett Favre track at the end of his career. You remember how Brett Favre at the end of his career, he said, "I retired. I want to come back, and I want to retire."
Ended up a Viking. What was that?
Yes.
What was that?
He's taking a chapter out of Brett Favre's book. He really learned. I guess he was his mentor. He just brings drama, man. And yeah, he had a good season. It was okay. It wasn't $59 million worth, which his contract cap hit was last year.
Ouch.
He had a young team, a new team. Devontae Adams was gone, but he still had Aaron Jones. He still had A.J. Dillon. He still had the same coaching staff that he's had the past few seasons. This guy has had, talking about Derek Carr's situation, Aaron Rodgers has had the complete opposite of that. He has had a foundation for his whole career in Green Bay.
Not rushed.
Exactly. And he's gotten everything he needs. Ownership has done everything for him. They'll do anything. And yet he's still willing to kind of lock them up, handcuff them, and say, I'm going to make my own decision. And it's terrible. So as a Jets fan, do you want this guy? Do you want the $59 million cap hit? And again, if you go get Aaron Rodgers, you're going to have to trade a bunch of draft capital, maybe some of your young guys, to get him instead of Derek Carr, where you're just going to have to sign. Right. This guy is not a leader in the locker room. It's been talked about by so many ex-players and current players and a lot of outlets that Aaron Rodgers is just kind of there for himself. And when you're winning, when the Packers are winning, he's great. But when they're losing, he's kind of just aloof in the corner in the locker room, right? But Derek Carr is leading his team, the Raiders, who's had so much drama, and he's still willing to lead those teams. If I'm a Jets fan, like you said, I am praying and begging the Jets to go get Derek Carr. I think Aaron Rodgers is done. I think he needs to retire, honestly.
You think he's washed? He's washed? Is he in the bathtub? So, is he washed?
I think so. And if he does come back, I think he needs to go to a warm weather city where he's not cold anymore. Because just look, man, look at the season he had. He couldn't run. He had no mobility.
Oh, snap.
Go to Las
Green Bay
Vegas.
fans hate you. You're not ever going to Wisconsin, Big Z. Know that right now. You're not going to Wisconsin.
No, there's a lot of Green Bay fans that do not want him back. I'm in a fantasy football league with one of them, and he does not want Aaron Rodgers back.
I'm just going to say, to support you, before this year, Aaron Rodgers' high in interceptions was 5. He more than doubled that. It was 12 this year, and he hasn't broken 4,000 yards in the last 5 years. Yeah. I mean, this is a guy that we expect to be consistently breaking 4,000 yards, especially in the last 5 years, because I know there's a lot of Rodgers apologists that listen to this, and they're going to say, oh, Aaron Rodgers, he lost Devontae Adams. The last 5 years, he hasn't broken 4,000 yards.
Right.
I mean, this is not a brand new thing. I mean, Adams clearly hurt when he left. And then I'm finally going to say, look Rodgers has not gotten it done when it matters. He is 1-4 in the NFC Championship. You can chalk that up. All of these Green Bay fans like to talk about defenses, this, that, and the other. The bottom line is he made it to the NFC Championship 5 times, and he moved on 1 time. I don't care who you are. I don't care what the ranks are. When you make it to the NFC Championship, you got a good football team. Yes, you might be saying, well, come on. Is that real? Let's get the stats, get the numbers. No, eye test, baby. When you make it to the NFC Championship game, you got a good football team. And the fact that he missed it in 4 of 5 times to get to the Super Bowl, I mean, we can't let that slide, Big Z. Come on, son. We can't let that slide.
That's how we grade, professional athletes nowadays. It's how many championships have you won? And what's the percentage? That's one of the dings on LeBron, right?
100%.
That he has lost so many NBA finals. And that's why Michael Jordan is considered the GOAT still, because he went 6-0.
You can't simultaneously hate on Tom Brady and support Aaron Rodgers with a 1-4 stat. You can't.
Exactly.
You can't do it. Right? Because I feel like there's a lot of people, the same people that would support Aaron Rodgers are the same people that would hate on Tom Brady. And I'm saying right now, you can't do both. You can't have it both ways. You either admit that it's insane that Aaron Rodgers is 1-4 in NFC Championship games, or you admit that Tom Brady's the GOAT. Like, you can't have it both ways.
And
like, that's it.
And with Aaron Rodgers, it's never his fault, right?
Never his fault.
He never
it's the defense. Tampa Bay.
Tampa Bay. The 49ers, they're just really good. They're on fire. It's always someone else.
Come on,
Matt LaFleur. He made the wrong play. He made the wrong call, right? It's never, I made a bad decision. I should have stepped up in that situation. It's never that. With
my favorite Aaron Rodgers, my favorite thing about Aaron Rodgers is the look down. Right. When he does the post-game interview. And if you're watching us on YouTube, by the way, if you don't know, check out Brevity Sports on YouTube. We're there. It's the look down, right? It's like that little patented, like, it was a tough game. Well, he's not looking up. Bro, take responsibility. You choked. You even choked in the playoffs. You choked versus the Niners. You choked versus Tampa Bay. We're not giving you a pass. Not here on Brevity Sports. The Niners QB room is insane. I mean, if we're talking QB rooms, we're talking Jimmy G is probably gone. But then we're talking Trey Lance and Brock Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant. I mean, what the heck? This guy rattled off 5 wins before he lost in the playoffs. And by the way, when he lost, he got hit. It wasn't his fault. He didn't even get a chance to play. I mean, Big Z, you're a Niner fan. Oh, by the way, I'm showing Big Z's hand right now. He's a big Niner fan. This guy is bang, bang, Niner gang all day.
That's right.
So if you're listening to this, this is a huge Niner fan. So this is near dear to his heart. Big Z, are your Niners going to fold up shop next year, or do they got a quarterback waiting in the wings?
I honestly think so. Brock Purdy, I really think they're going to see what happens with his elbow surgery. He doesn't have to have Tommy John. So whatever happens, it's going to be a 6-month recovery. Last week, it did get delayed because the swelling was still a little too much for the doctor's comfort. So he may be ready by late August. So, right when the season begins. The thing that impressed me about Purdy is, he's Mr. Irrelevant. But the dude grinded. You could tell, man, in the offseason, in the OTAs, he went and he worked hard. And I think that a lot of things that people underestimate nowadays about the college QB is this guy, he stayed and played all 4 years at Iowa State. In the Big 12. And yes, a lot of people say a lot of things about the Big 12, right? Like, it's just about offense. But he's the quarterback. They were ranked. He took a terrible program and they went into the top 25 and played some bowl games. Brock Purdy had that experience. He played against NFL caliber players. Trey Lance, and I can't really grade Trey Lance because he hasn't had a fair shot. I can't say that he's a bust because he was hurt. He was hurt, but he did come into the league with a little bit of a big head. I would say a little inflated because he knew that the Niners moved all that draft capital to go get him. But the dude played like one season at North Dakota State. And I'm not hating North Dakota State. I didn't play D1 football. I played high school football. I was all right. Right. So he, of course, yeah, he's way better than me. But it just seemed like...
No, it's too late. Mama Lance hates you. Mama Lance already doesn't like you. Don't get it twisted.
He just kind of came in with this, I'm the guy, I'm the big guy on campus now. Once Jimmy leaves, I'm going to take this thing over. And Brock Purdy, he came out of nowhere. So I want Brock Purdy to be the guy. And I've also heard some rumblings that Andy Dalton may be coming in as well as a backup. So I don't know if he's going to be number 2.
Oh, you don't want Andy Dalton. Come on, son.
I'm just saying for Trey Lance's ego, like that must hurt. Like, is he going to be behind Purdy, or is he going to be behind me for number 3 if I'm the number? You know what I'm saying? Like, it makes you think. It just makes you think. Andy Dalton.
Andy Dalton is like the line. Andy Dalton has been the line for the last like decade in football. If you're better than Andy Dalton, you get to be in the league. If you're not,
but what does that say? Even if it's not true, like if there's rumblings coming out of the 49ers camp, what does that say about their faith in Trey Lance? Right. And yes, he has so much ability. Like there's raw talent, but there was a lot of rumors with guys that saying like he wasn't throwing the ball correctly. It wasn't accurate. He couldn't throw the deep ball. There was a lot of guys, stars like Deebo Samuel saying this stuff. So they love Purdy. They have his back. And I really think that they want him to be the starting QB next year, in my opinion. And that's what I would do. That's what
I got to say. I feel bad for Trey Lance. I really do. I feel bad for this guy. I mean, every time it seems like he's going to get a shot, he just gets injured. But at some point, you're made of glass, right? I mean, we're talking about Anthony Davis. When you look at a Laker team, right? We're going to get to the NBA in a second. When we look at a Laker team with Anthony Davis and LeBron James, you think this team should be dominant, but the dude just cannot stay healthy. At some point, that is the reality of the situation. If you cannot stay healthy, you're made of glass. So Trey Lance, he really needs, regardless of what they decide, he needs a healthy year. He's got to be able to put it together. He can't keep taking injuries. Here's what I will say about the Niners. Jimmy G being gone, to me, is a blessing in disguise. That's right. That's right. I'm saying Jimmy Bust Garoppolo. Listen, this guy in 2019, he threw for 3,978 yards. That was his best year ever. The dude still did not eclipse 4,000 yards, but he did throw for 27 touchdowns, only 13 interceptions. 2022, he was very close. 3,810, 20 TDs, only 12 interceptions. But he's only eclipsed 2,500 yards in those 2 years. This guy is a game manager. And listen, I love the Shanahan, okay? He's got a great offense, but at some point during the playoffs, you're going to need a guy who can't just game manage. You're going to need a guy who can get out there and win the game. Ask the Dallas Cowboys, okay? At some point, your quarterback's going to need to say, baby, get on my back. Daddy's got you. Jump on. We're going to get through the fire. We're going to get through the hurricane. I'm going to get us the W, a la Derek Carr. And Jimmy G ain't that guy. So
Brock Purdy is. That's why I think Brock Purdy is. You saw it, bro. That he just came in and there were games against the Raiders specifically where they were down and he was like, all right, let's go. And he won the game with his arm. It wasn't the run game. It was with his arm. And that's why I think that Purdy is so special. Because as a Niner fan, I haven't seen that since Steve Young, right? Like we haven't had the guy, the quarterback.
Oh, he has so much swag. He was oozing swagger. And here's what I will say. If he plays in the NFC Championship game, not only is it different, but if he wins that game, he's the hands down starter. We're not even having this discussion if he just gets him to the Super Bowl. 100%. I don't care what happens in the Super Bowl. Patrick Mahomes is on another level. Kelsey and him just have this weird wavelength of just like psyche energy. It's just, it's like they're just intertwined, dude. It's like they were born next to each other in the bassinets. Like nobody can convince me that somehow they're not like related. They're not like some sort of weird twins from like somewhere back in the past. Like, I don't know. But regardless, if Brock Purdy gets them through the NFC Championship, he is the guy without question. Trey Lance, go get a few pieces because of teams like the Ravens. We're looking at Lamar Jackson. This guy had an injury. Supposedly he could play, but then he didn't play, but supposedly he could play. Big Z, are you giving this guy a contract? Are we saying, is Lamar overrated?
Lamar has overrated himself, if that's sense,
right? Snap, son. Snap.
Lamar Jackson, get this. He's asking for Deshaun Watson like money, which is $250 million guaranteed.
Ouch.
And now I am not saying that Deshaun Watson is worth that. I think that's a terrible contract. But then again, who gave him that contract? The Browns. And we all know the Browns are the laughingstock of the league. They have been, and they always will be, right? They don't run their organization. They drafted Baker Mayfield and Johnny Manziel with the number 1 overall pick. Please.
Right. For goodness sake.
Son. Lamar Jackson, over the last 2 seasons, has played 12 games. And again, this is with an added game. So there was 17 games each of those 2 seasons. He's played 12 games, averaged 16 touchdowns and 10 interceptions. But when it matters, he is 1-3 in the playoffs. The guy is great. He is more of a game manager, in my opinion. Just like he has more talent than Jimmy Garoppolo, right? Because of his athletic ability. But the guy is definitely overrated. You're telling me that you deserve $50 million a year, and when you average 16 touchdowns and 10 interceptions. Real leaders, in my opinion, take pay cuts. Look at Brady, right? He took a pay cut for his team. Look at Patrick Mahomes. He took a team-friendly deal. Let me list the guys ahead of Patrick Mahomes in annual salary cap. Aaron Rodgers, dumpster fire. Russell Wilson, dumpster fire. Kyler Murray, dumpster fire. Deshaun Watson, dumpster fire. And then you have Patrick Mahomes. He's 5th, and he's going to be 8th or 9th this season because everyone else's salaries are going up. And he decided to take a team-friendly deal because he wanted to stay competitive throughout his career, just like Tom Brady. So if I'm Lamar Jackson, I need to look in the mirror and say, do I want to win in this league? Because if I want to win, let me take $10 million less, which is still $40 million per season. And let's spread the wealth and create a good team around me, because you have the coaching staff. John Harbaugh is a great coach. You have great coordinators and you have a great defense. But what's the one thing that the Ravens haven't had in years is a great wide receiver. So let's take 10 million less and bet on the general manager to do what he needs to do to pay the right wide receiver so you can win football games. And so, yes, I think he's overrated. I don't think he deserves that Deshaun Watson-like money. I don't think Deshaun Watson does, but the dude needs to say, hey, I have not earned this. I have earned a great contract. Yes, he deserves to be one of the highest paid quarterbacks, but he should not, handcuff the Ravens and say, I deserve this amount of money, because he doesn't. He hasn't proved it.
Oh, 100%, dude. I look at this guy and I think 100%. Listen, not only has this guy not lived up to the hype, he's actually gotten worse. When you go to his best year, you got to go years back when he had 3,127 yards passing, 36 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, rushing for 1,206 yards, 7 TDs. I will say 8 fumbles just to, provide some realism. But since that year, like his second year, since that year, he's not been the same guy. He's not even been remotely close. And that was in his first couple of seasons. Since then, 2021, right? He didn't rush for over 800 yards. He had as many fumbles as TDs, and he didn't eclipse 3,000 yards. I didn't include this last year because I was trying to give him some grace. So I wanted the last full year. It wasn't there. It wasn't there.
It wasn't there.
This guy has just been getting worse and worse and worse.
Jimmy G has more passing touchdowns than Lamar Jackson. Let me just say that.
100%.
That should say something.
And we're hating on Jimmy G. We can't stop now. Can't stop now.
Jimmy, I love you. You did so good, but it's time.
What kills the Ravens with this deal, honestly, is Deshaun Watson. When you look at the Browns, the dumpster fire that is the Browns, it's going to keep being a dumpster fire.
Set the precedent for QB
You should
deals.
not. You should not.
This is the Browns. But that's what the Ravens, they know that. And that's why they're not giving him the money that he wants. And they're $100 million apart in negotiations. And it's because of that guaranteed money. And if I'm Lamar, dude, like, take the 150 guaranteed and let your team build a good offense around you. You let them put some money in the offensive line, protect you, and give yourself a target to throw to. Like you have a good running back, a good, young guys, but come on, like, take a page out of Patrick Mahomes and Tom Brady's books, dude. Like, they took team-friendly deals and they have won multiple Super Bowls. And have great teams around them. And if you're the Ravens, at some point, look, just in defense, because we got to be fair. In some level, Kyle Hamilton, like, come on, man, you need a receiver. Go get a receiver. What are you doing? Right.
What are you doing? Right. Give the guy a weapon. I mean, come on, son. Outside of Mark Andrews, that's all you got.
Right. And to be honest, that's a great point. And this, in Lamar Jackson's defense, he's been on his rookie deal, and they still haven't done it. Places.
Right.
Yet they've created a great defense, and now it's time to get more playmakers, right? But Lamar, if you want to win in Baltimore, you're going to have to take a little less than what you want and compromise. It's called compromise, negotiations.
Situation matters. Right. You have to realize situation matters. When you're looking at Patrick Mahomes, he's not that dude without Andrew Reid, without Kelsey, without all the pieces around him.
Right.
He's not that dude. You got to learn a lesson. Situation matters. And if you are gobbling up all of the cash, all of the money, guess what?
Right.
Players are going to start walking. If you think you're the sole reason, players are going to start walking. Ask Aaron Rodgers in his recent breakup with Devontae Adams. Look no further. Speaking of breakups, the NBA and their fans. I mean, this is a breakup. What is going on? Big Z ratings are consistently worse. In the early 2000s, right? The NBA, was averaging 6.48 million, in 2022 versus in 2012, they were out 12.4 million. So we're talking NBA ratings have been cut in half, let alone the All-Star game. Kind of the same story. What is the reasoning? Is it resting players? Is it ownership? What's going on with the NBA, Big Z?
I think it has to be a combination of both. I mean, I'm a big Laker fan, and I grew up in the Kobe Shaq era. And man, I would watch every single game of those guys. And you know why I had I clinged on to Lakers is because the Lakers were the Lakers.
Yeah.
They were a team. I knew who was on my team every single night and every single season.
Yep.
And nowadays you have superstars just changing teams every single year. I love the Lakers still, but every year they have a whole different roster besides LeBron and AD. And it's hard to really be a fan of a team that you don't know who the players are.
Right.
You can't expect fans to watch your game if they're willing to put their own hard-earned money into you, and then the star players are requesting to be traded 2 years after they sign a 5-year max contract.
That's fair. Right?
You cannot do it. It sends a message about, I'm not willing to go all in, and I care more about the name on the back of my jersey than I do about the front of the jersey, the team, the organization.
Oh, he want Herb Brooks. He want Herb Brooks on everybody. You got to care about the name on the front of the jersey. Where's the name on the back? If you never watched Miracle, go watch it. It's a great movie.
Oh,
I'm just saying.
It's
fantastic.
Great. It is great.
Hockey movie. It's great.
It's hard. It's hard to root for these teams, man. Like, You remember in the 90s, we had Michael Jordan, right? You had the Lakers in the 80s, the Lakers in the early 2000s, the Spurs in the early 2000s. And even LeBron, when he first came in the league, when he was with the Cavs, like it was the same group of guys. And now you have the NBA giving control to the players, right? LeBron is making the team for the Lakers.
And by the way,
it all goes awry.
By the way, Big Z, just real quick. Did Michael Jordan switch teams? Just so we're all clear.
When he came back, no.
When he came back after retirement, I'm talking about before retirement.
Right.
Did he switch teams?
Kobe? No.
No. Come on, son. No. Continue, sir.
It's just you have LeBron making general manager decisions because 9 out of the 12 players on the roster are, under his agent. And then when it all goes awry, you don't take the blame. You just blame the front office. Like, that's not going to do it. You have KD and Kyrie Irving. They all got together with James Harden on the Nets. They said, we don't need a coach, so just bring in Steve Nash to coach us. And then,
oh boy.
And then it all went to shambles.
Sideways. Boom.
And then who did they blame? The Nets ownership. They didn't
look
100%. Within, right? And so how do you expect fans to root for you and to cheer in your success if you're willing just to move on from the team?
100%, man.
As fans, everyone knows this. We love our teams. We love the Dodgers, the Lakers, whoever it is. We love them and we live and breathe those teams. And when these guys are just like, screw you guys, screw you, the fans, you guys aren't important, it hurts. It really does.
And we want the same names. We want those names to be around, like the Dodgers. In my mind, when we look at the Dodgers and everybody is like, I'm going on a tangent here, but when people look at the Dodgers like, oh, you guys buy your talent, stop it. We competed for 3 Rookie of the Years in a row. Corey Seager, Cody Bellinger, Jacques Peterson. That's when they're clicking on all cylinders. It's the same across the league. Listen, watching Campbell in the All-Star game, realizing he was a Laker, watching Ball start the ball, watching Randall, All-Star, watching these guys that used to be Lakers. It's insane to watch. And that to me is the problem with the NBA. Not only player control, Kawhi Leonard, okay, as of right now, we're filming this on a Sunday, has played in 35 games. Big Z, every team has played about 60. My man has played in about 35 games. What is that? If you're not going to try, if you're not going to play, why should I pay to watch you? Right. Why am I going to pay $60 to watch you lose? Why am I going to do that? That doesn't make any sense. I'm not going to watch the Dodgers night in and night out with Mookie Betts on the bench. I'm not going to watch the Kings night in and night out with Dowdy on the bench. I'm not going to watch whoever it is, name your team in your city. If you're a Phillies fan, Bryce Harper. You're not going to go watch Bryce Harper, right? A Bryce Harper-less Phillies team without Bryce Harper just resting. If he's injured, that's one thing. But the idea that this guy is playing less than half, and I know there's a lot of NBA apologists sitting there saying, hey, boys, Frito-Lay, Big Z, relax. 82 games in a season. You know who else is 82 games in a season? Hockey. And those boys are playing year in and year out. These dudes get hit by cars and they find a way to get on the ice. Are you serious? You're talking about load management? Stop it. Listen, 35 games, that's pathetic. I don't care what the reason is. Yeah. I don't care what the justification is. I'm saying that's pathetic. Hashtag pathetic. Hashtag Brevity Sports. Whatever you want to do, come at me, bro. It's pathetic. You're not committed to your fans. I watched Kobe with like 15 ice packs around his body, right? He had ice packs on his shoulders. He had ice packs on his knees. He had ice packs on his hamstrings. Right. He had ice packs, like one random one across his chest. I don't even know what that ice pack was doing, but he had the ice pack, right? Like that was the reality of the situation. My boy tore his Achilles and said, hey, I'm going to shoot the free throw just in case I can come back in. You know what I mean? And this league is so soft. We got guys like Durant. I want Steve Nash. I want Kyrie Irving. I don't want Steve Nash. I don't want Kyrie Irving. And now I don't want to be a net. Just send me to where I can help Devin Booker and Chris Paul win a ring. Are you serious?
And think about it.
That's not good for the NBA.
It's not good for growing your game. Because I remember with the late, great Kobe Bryant you just mentioned, he said, I am going to play especially in every single away game that I can, because I don't know who's in the stands for the first time.
100%.
Maybe they can't go to any other game, but they bought a ticket. Their parents saved up for the last year and they wanted to show their kids who Kobe Bryant was. Think about the Charlotte Hornet fans, right? Like they don't have, it's not the Lakers. It's not those guys. It's not that brand. It's the Hornets. But when you have Kobe Bryant come to town, when you have these big names coming to town, that's when 100%. You're going to get the sellouts, right? And so 100%. For Kawhi Leonard to just rest because he doesn't want to play, but you're going to go visit, teams like I said, the Charlotte Hornets, the Indiana Pacers, and you have a kid who loves the game of basketball and they want to go see Kawhi Leonard because they know that he's a great superstar, and he decides, I'm just going to rest. What does that say? How is that going to grow your game? So the load management thing, unless you're really hurt, you need to play, bro. And you're getting paid top dollar. You're getting paid $45, $49 million a year, and you're sitting out just to rest. Come on.
When you look at the impact, impact that a guy like LeBron James had in the league, shout outs right here. I'm going to say this. I'm going to get a lot of hate. Shout outs to my boy, Steph Curry. Shout out to my boy, Damian Lillard. Shout outs to my boy, Giannis, who stood by their teams, won a championship, or Damian Lillard still looking for it, but at least he's riding with his team.
Right.
We cannot. What is this? Let's join forces. I mean, come on, dude. I know you remember Big Z when we were on the playground back in the day. Again, neither of us were D1, so we don't hold a candlestick to these guys. But back in the day on the playground, you wanted to beat that kid. We all knew that kid, right? We knew that kid.
Of course.
Who was a baller, who couldn't be stopped. We wanted to beat that kid. So we walked in from recess to Miss Peffley's class or Mrs. Smith's class or whoever is listening to this podcast. Think of that teacher, Mrs. Whatever's class. We can look at them and say, hey, I took it to that kid. I may not be good at math. I may not be good at science. I may not be the smartest crayon or the brightest crayon in the box, but guess what? I took it to that kid. Are you serious? Come on, son. What is this? We don't join forces. So the question has to be asked. LeBron James, years ago, he said on ESPN, and he said, I'm taking my talents to South Beach. What is the impact this guy is having on the NBA today, Big Z? Super teams, is the NBA further along? I understand all these NBA players are happy because, hey, they gave us the keys to the league. They wanted us to be superstars. But is it good for the NBA to be in the position it's in now, Big Z?
No. And LeBron set a bad precedent, in my opinion, by doing that, by joining forces with, Chris Bosh and Dwayne Wade and whoever else was on the Heat. It was terrible. Who beat them? Who beat them that year in the finals?
Not
the
one.
Mavericks.
Not two.
Not two.
Not three. Not four.
Not
That's
five,
right. Hey, I know there's a lot of young kids probably listening to this podcast. Go back, YouTube. It's there. Okay.
Yep. And it set a precedent, and now you see it. You see, it was a trade, but Kevin Durant joining forces with Devin Booker, DeAndre Ayton, Chris Paul. You see Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic. You see Kevin Durant going to the Warriors when he just lost to them the year prior to join.
Not
Steph
on my
Curry,
boy Steph. Hey, not on my boy Steph. Not on my boy Steph.
No, but
there's
Kevin
somebody
Durant.
listening to this. But I'm
Durant.
saying there's somebody listening to this saying, oh, well, Steph Curry had Kevin Durant. Steph Curry stayed.
But Steph Curry won without Kevin Durant. And that team was built from the draft.
You, sir.
They didn't buy free agents. They built the right way. And they didn't need him. It was just Kevin Durant wanted to go there. Fine. So I'm not hating on the Warriors. I'm hating on Kevin Durant. But you see it. It's time and time again. It's these players just moving every 2 seasons, and they're superstars too. And it also hurts the guys who are trying to grow in the game, the guys who are not superstars, the ones who are barely making it, right? If Kevin Durant says, I don't want this guy on the team, the general manager right now is going to be like, okay, I'm going to ship him out because that's what you want. No, it should be about what's good for the team. I'm a
100%.
Laker fan. I'm so glad that we did not get Kyrie Irving because he did not fill the holes that the guys that Rob Pelinka actually brought in filled. So
100%.
That's where I think there needs to be a rebalancing right now. And I think that the league and the general managers, they need to have the players they need to stay how they play, and they're great at it. They're great athletes, and the general managers and the executives, they need to go create the team and assemble it.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. Look, at the end of the day, I was there. I was there in summer camp. I was there in summer basketball. I wanted Campbell. I wanted Ball. I wanted Randall. I wanted Zubac, and can't tell I'm a Laker fan. It hurts my heart.
Right.
As I watch these kids develop, I think the Lakers would have been competing for an NBA championship without selling our soul, is my point. That is the heart of basketball, which has been lost for me. As these superstars, as these 4 or 5 superstars control the league, I like it less and less. I'm just going to be honest. That's the way I feel. I don't apologize for it. I don't make excuses for it. If you don't like it, fantastic. Hate on me more, bro. Here's the deal. There is one league that's willing to shake it up for the fans. There's one league willing to change it up for the fans that I see. And that is Major League Baseball. Come on, son. It is
long time coming.
It's the shakeup, my boy. We got rule changes this year. We got a bunch of rule changes coming. We got pitching clocks. We got base enlargement to encourage stealing. We got banning the shifts because our hitters are soft. We got all these things coming, Big Z. Tell me, my boy, are you excited for the rule changes? Come on.
Have you watched a game this spring training?
Oh, absolutely. I have. Come on.
Don't you love it? How fast it is?
Watching the Braves get called for strike 3 because their batter tried to walk to first base and exceeded the time limit. Amazing.
I love it. And you can
love it.
These guys can complain all they want about it. Blah, blah. I'm sure it's coming.
Love it.
This is great for the game. Because this game, baseball, Major League Baseball, if you guys can't tell, and you'll know after like the first 2 episodes, baseball is our number one. Like that is our king, is Major League Baseball. And Major League Baseball has been struggling with a lack of excitement, I would say, and
100%.
lack of growing a
100%.
new fan base. And this, it may not be perfect, right? But at least they're finally willing to make some changes to get there.
Yep.
Right. And I love it. I think it's some of the best thing that Rob Manfred has actually done in his tenure. And I think it's really going to help grow this game of baseball for sure.
Look they knew they needed to make changes. Okay. To build the next generation of baseball fans.
Yes.
I'm a Dodger fan. I'm going to come out. I'm going to clean. I'm going to say it. It's going to get me more hate. Hate at me, Fredo _Lay. Hate at me, bro. Listen, I understand. I had to take my sons, 7, 8 years old. I had to take them to a baseball game, 3 innings in the seats, 1 inning in center field where they could play their games. And shout out Dodger Stadium for doing that. But the fact that they could not make it through an entire Dodger game is like, come on, son. It's so long, though. I couldn't expect it. It's like 4 hours. I couldn't expect it. So as we look at the MLB, right, first and foremost, they're building popularity with the younger guys, and I appreciate that. Big Z, MLB TV. If you haven't heard this, they've added their minor leagues to MLB TV. What do you think about this? Talk to me.
I love it. I love it because so many times, especially in baseball has the richest farm system out of all the major sports. And you hear these guys, you hear these names all the time, and you're like, who is that from their single A team? I don't know who that is, right? And now you have the ability to watch, if you pay for the package, which is way cheaper than NBA's package, way cheaper than NFL's package. No, they're not sponsoring me. I'm just saying this right now.
Oh, snap.
You get to see all the young guys, all the young talent from single A, double A, triple A. You can see the robo umps, but it helps you know, it rounds out your knowledge of the game.
Yes.
Who was what, who was where are they coming from? Where are they going to be traded to? And so when these discussions come up around the trade deadline, like, hey, the Dodgers are looking to give away, these guys from their farm for this superstar in return, what's going on. Right. And so it just creates a knowledge, and you're creating a foundation that, is going to be really strong for the game of baseball going forward, I think. And
I love
not
it.
Raise your prices for MLB TV for that is awesome. They have 7,000 games that you can watch throughout the season. That's insane, but it just allows your fan base to grow, like what we were talking about. The NBA doesn't have this because it's a new team every single season. And now you allow your fan base to get connected to not only your major league club, but your AAA, your AA, and your single A team to really be entrenched in that organization. That is smart and genius, and it's going to help grow your fan base even more.
If you're one of these baseball fans complaining, hey, oh man, I can't believe they charge kids to get into the stadium. This is your moment. This is your moment.
Right.
You get to go be a part of whichever team, may not be your favorite team, but whichever team is in your area. Go out, find them, right? Watch the next generation of talent. Watch my boy, Mila Deal. Go out and watch it. Ryan Pepiot, go watch him. These guys are out there. Go watch the next generation of talent. They're out there. They're in your city. They're in Oklahoma. They're in New York. They're in Missouri. They're everywhere. Go out, watch them. Find your local AA, AAA. Go out there and watch them. And again, we're not sponsored. We just love the game of baseball. However, there are significant rule changes coming. We got bigger bases. We got the pitch clock. We got the no shift. And we got the max 2 times throw over. I mean, there's a lot of rule changes coming, Big Z. Are you in favor of these?
I am. It was time that something needed to change, especially the pitch clock, man. These games, 100%. Like you said, 4 hours long.
Let's go.
Really? In the summer on a 1 o'clock on a Sunday afternoon in Los Angeles, California.
Wait, you don't like burning in 100-degree weather in August?
Exactly. Yeah.
You don't like that?
Me. Not me.
Bring your sunscreen.
I will turn into a little red or a big red tomato. That's what's going to happen to me. So
big red tomato. He's 6'2", everybody. Big red tomato.
6'3". Okay. Don't negate.
Oh boy. He had to rub it in that I'm only 5'10". This guy hates all year long. Stay with us. This guy hates all year long. He had to call me even smaller. I love it. Listen, these base pads are going to increase stealing. I love
there's no
stealing
steals anymore. Last year there was it was like the lowest
amount. Take off every throw or 2 throwovers, and you got to take the next base anyway. Take it over. Everybody thinking, who cares about 2 times you got to throw over? Go.
It's huge.
And cheat and take the next base. I love it. I love it so much. What else I love? 15-second pitch clock versus 20 seconds with runners on base. This is amazing. I was talking to my friends tonight. They're not baseball fans. They're big football fans. And they told me when they turn on baseball games, the one thing they don't like is they watch one pitch. And then 3 minutes later, another pitch comes. And then if it's later in the game, 5 minutes later, after 2 mound visits, I talk to the shortstop, I talk to the second baseman, another visit comes. Shorten it up. And if you're somebody sitting here go, I can't believe it. I can't believe they're shortening this up. Listen, we need more fans in baseball. Again, this is America's pastime. This is the difference. The argument keeps coming down. Should there be less games? Is that the problem with the MLB? No, it's not. That's why it's called MLB. That's why it's called America's pastime. It's here all year long. They don't abandon you like football. They don't abandon you like the NBA. They don't abandon you like the NHL. It's all year long. By the time it ends in the World Series, a couple months later, pitchers and catchers report. It's all year long.
100%.
The problem that we're having is that we cannot keep your attention. It's America's pastime. The idea is that there's so many games that we stay with you the entire year. We just need to make it a bit more entertaining. And I think these rules actually do that. And I love it. I love the ban of the shift, even though I do think, just bunt the ball. Like you couldn't bunt the ball over.
But it's, today's players, they don't like to be told what to do. So
they couldn't bunt it over. Even though it's like, dude, they gave you a half a field. If you didn't watch the shift last year, there'd be a dude on first base, a guy on second base. If you don't know baseball, that's the first square and the second square. And there'd be 4 players in between the first and the second square. And there'd be 2 players in between the second and the third square on the infield. And,
crazy,
and major league hitters paid millions of dollars could not figure this out.
It's like free throws,
but of course,
in basketball.
It really is. But they couldn't figure it out. They couldn't figure it out.
And so MLB was like, all right, like we're going to help you out a little bit.
Bit.
So like our boy, Cody Bellinger, and those on the Cubs.
He's going to go off.
Maybe he'll have a little higher average now.
He's going to go off. Cody Bellinger, if you're a Cody Bellinger hater, I'm telling you right now. Cody Bellinger's going to hit for 250. I'm telling you right now. Chalk it up. Brevity Sports. Cody Bellinger hits 250 next year. Right, watch. Baby. Watch it happen.
I love it. 265. Let's do it.
265. They banned the shift. 2 players on each side of the bag. We only got 15 seconds with no runners on base. Big Z. Overall, these rule changes, do you love it? Are you in favor of it? Do you want to see more of it?
To stay relevant, you have to change sometimes. And so I'm highly in favor of it. And next year, maybe 2 years, we're going to see the robo ump behind the plate because it's just not cutting it anymore, man. Like these calls behind the plate, they're not cutting it anymore. And so why not just implement this change now? But I love it. I love the changes. Like I said, if you want to grow your game, you have to tailor it towards the younger generation, the ones who are going to be there. Right. And they want to have fast paced entertainment. And that's what MLB is now striving to do with these new rule changes. So let's do it. Let's embrace it and let's watch the season and let's see what happens. Right. Let's do it.
100%. I love it. it. I think moves the game faster. Let's get more hits. Let's get more runs. Let's get more strikeouts. More
activity. Like
let's stop throwing the ball over. Let's stop throwing the ball over to first base 20 times. That's insane. Right. Let's move the game along. Let's make baseball, great again.
Fun.
I get behind that. I don't know if I get behind anything else, but make baseball great again. I get behind that. What's up? Baby. Jackie Robinson would love it. I'll tell you that. Listen, you know what else Jackie Robinson would love?
What else?
The boy Manny Machado making $350 million. My boy, he had a big year. I don't even like this guy, but I'm fired up for him. And here's why I am. Listen, when you're talking most valuable players of last year, you talk about Shohei, you talk about Bryce Harper, you can talk about Clayton Kershaw, you can talk about Julio Urias, you could talk about Alcantara, you could talk about all these players, Aaron Judge. Name your favorite player on your favorite team. Mike Trout, Shohei Ohtani, whoever you want to mention. If you're a Boston fan, probably Verdugo, maybe some Kike. I don't know. Name your favorite player. I don't know. But I'll tell you what. Manny Machado made a strong case with the Padres. This dude said, Fernando who? Question mark. I am the Padres. This dude balled. My man had a .298 batting average, 102 RBIs, 172 hits, 100 runs batted in. And full disclosure, I hate this dude, but he balled. I can't say anything about it, and I hate him.
And he's a great defender, one of the best third basemen, probably the best third baseman in the league defensively. And he showed up to the park every single day and worked hard.
100%.
Load management. What? No, not with this guy.
Facts.
And you know what? He was there at the beginning of this Padres rebuild. You know, when he signed that 10-year deal, they're like, oh, the Padres are a joke. This guy is going to live in, he's going to be below the Dodgers' little brother for the rest of his career. And he stuck with them. He trusted this team to build around him. And now he's being rewarded for that. I love it.
100%.
And we're talking about being an identity, having an identity as a team. And this guy is example number one of sticking with that team, sticking with the city. When his contract is done, he's going to be there 15 years. That's awesome. Like he's going to be remembered as a Padre, not an Oriole, not a Dodger. He's going to be remembered as a Padre. And yeah, we may not like him. We may not like his antics. We may think he's a dirty player.
Hate him.
He loves the Padres and he loves the city of San Diego. And that's something that those fans down in San Diego can rally around. And that's good. So I'm happy for him. He deserves it because he's stuck with the team.
Hating him. I'm hating him. I'm sending my hate through the podcast realm. Listen, Juan Soto and Manny Machado is going to take the Padres to the next level. If you're a Padre fan, listen to this in San Diego. Let go of Tatis. He was your past. Your future is Soto. Your future is Machado. This is Brevity Sports. We have had a blast with you tonight. We talked NFL. We talked free agency. We talked NBA, what is going on? If you're an NBA fan listening, I know you share a frustration because we love the NBA. We want to root for our team, not some team that was made out of thin air, not some team made of all-stars. We want our teams. We want a team that represents our fan base. That's what we want. And we talk MLB, rule changes, bring more kids to the park, bring more fans to the park. I'm here with my co-host, Big Z, the biggest of Z's. Big Z, say bye to the people. Tell the people what they mean to you.
The people mean everything to me. Without you, I mean, I would talk to my boy Fredo. So, but
we're still here. That's the best part. If you hate us, so what? We're still here. We're
still
here.
Gonna talk, baby. Hey, we're gonna be here regardless. But no. I appreciate you tuning into us. This is just something we just want to share our thoughts and opinions with the world. And I hope all the people join in and share this awesome information because it's just fun. Join in on our fun. Talk to us, comment on our posts, whatever you need to do to interact with us. We're here for it. Hate us, love us, like us. I don't care. Just talk to us. We love you guys.
That's right. That's right. We're going to keep it simple. Brevity Sports, Instagram, Brevity Sports, Twitter, Brevity Sports, Facebook. Gary Vaynerchuk. If you're that guy, you're hoping you get Derek Carr. You're hoping for it. You're praying for it. Listen, we love you. We are Brevity Sports. We cannot wait to share our episodes with you every single week. We are going to keep coming at you with more and more information. We got a website coming for you soon. Don't you worry about that. We're going to get you some articles. We're going to get you some swag. We're going to get some videos, all pointing to Brevity Sports Podcast. You are jumping in at the ground floor. We appreciate you. We thank you for joining us. We will sign off with a very simple thank you to our fans. Keep following. This is Brevity Sports, Fredo Lay, and Big Z. You have a great week, great night, great weekend. We'll see you the next episode.